Hi, my name is Jen Berkman, and I'm the marketing manager with Medical Specialists of the Palm Beaches. Today, we're here with board-certified interventional cardiologist, Dr. Mark Rothenberg. Hi, Dr. Rothenberg, how are you?
Hi, Jen, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you're here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a couple of questions for you. The first one being, if you could be anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
Well, I guess I could give some kind of academic or very thought-provoking answer, but if I'm going to be totally honest, I'm a big sports fan, in particular a hockey fan and a New York Ranger fan.
Awesome.
So in 1994, the Rangers finally won the Stanley Cup after 54 years of failure. And so the captain of the team was a guy named Mark Messier, who most sports fans and hockey fans will know. So if I could be one person for one day, I'd be Mark Messier on that amazing January day of 1994 when the Rangers lifted the Stanley Cup.
That's awesome. Champion time, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. My honest answer.
So the second question would be, why did you decide to become a physician? Could have been a hockey player.
If I could have been a hockey player, I wouldn't have been a physician. I'll say that. But it's really, honestly, it's the only thing that really grabbed me and really interested me from the time back till I can remember. My dad was in finance in Manhattan. We lived in northern New Jersey. And he would take me into his office many days, especially during the summer when we were off. And it never really grabbed me. And in 8th grade, I wrote a paper on thoracic surgery. Believe it or not, I still have it to this day. It's a really cool, I wrote it in script. I don't even write in script anymore. I just write in regular print. But I have the paper to this day. And it really interested me. It really grabbed me, science from an early on period in my life. So I gravitated towards that very early. And I knew I wanted to go into medicine from an early stage. I did a 6-year combined medical program. So I saved 2 years off the whole process. And I'm really glad it worked out the way it did. I really enjoy what I do. They say it's not a job if you really enjoy what you do every single day. I don't know if I enjoy it every single day or every single night or weekend, but I do love what I do. It's a fascinating area it's just always learning something new, always studying, and I really enjoy what I do.
That is incredible.
Thanks.
That seems like a very, very tough job.
Yeah.
And I also understand that you have started doing venous procedures.
Yes. So we started doing venous procedures in the office, which is nice. It's a nice change from being in the cath lab all day, every day, which I did for 26 years up until we started this part of our practice. It's a good area that we help a lot of patients in. And I can go over the actual area of venous disease of the legs if you'd like me to, and we can discuss that.
Oh, wow. Incredible. Oh, this is great. This is awesome that we're able to expand our program.
Yes, definitely.
So what's one thing you wish people knew about interventional cardiology?
I guess the one thing that I would share is how it's a field that's ever changing. I think a lot of friends of mine who are in different areas, their field can get kind of static over time. It's the same thing every day. When I first started practicing, we were just doing balloon angioplasty alone. And it was pretty basic. It was pretty primitive, if you will, early on. And then stents came along, which revolutionized the field. And when I started doing my procedures initially, we started putting stents in. We were involved in some of the early trials in my fellowship. And then we started putting stents in practice. Then the early stents became drug-coated stents. And that really revolutionized things in terms of patients not coming back, getting really durable stent results, which would last a long time. That changed a lot. And then we moved on to peripheral procedures. We would do stents in the legs, in the kidney arteries, in the carotid arteries, in the arteries to the arms. And that became part of interventional cardiology. So that changed a lot. After that was kind of the same way for a little while. We started doing a lot of percutaneous valve procedures. So over the last 10 years, the practice has been focusing to a large degree on putting in valves through catheters, avoiding open heart surgery. We're involved in a lot of clinical trials regarding mitral valves and tricuspid valves. And it's a field that is ever changing and for that way, very, very exciting.
That is exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, it really is.
So one more question. What do you think with the health of people? Do you think, what's the best way to maintain health?
Yeah, when you gave me this question initially, I thought about it for a while because it's a question that you could just answer kind of routinely as exercise, diet, take your medications, follow up, all these kinds of things. But when I read the question, it jogged a memory in me. There was an admiral, a Navy SEAL admiral named William McRaven. He wrote a book and also gave a bunch of speeches about making your bed. So I know that sounds kind of funny, but as far as maintaining your health, but it really stayed with me because he makes the point that when you get up in the morning, the first task most of us have to do is make your bed. And that task leads to other tasks being completed. It's a small victory that you can have in the morning. You make your bed, it starts out the day on the right note, and it leads to other tasks as you go through the day. So I think that kind of thing can maintain mental health. It can lead to physical health because if you make your bed, you can go work out, you can exercise, you can take your medications, you can do all the things you need to do. It's the first task of the day, and it leads to everything else. And then he closes by saying at the end of the day, even if you've had a really bad day, at least you get to go home to a made bed and get to sleep in a bed that's already made.
I love it.
So I love it.
I
think it's a great point. I've taken that with me. And even if it's not the actual making of the bed, the first task of the day can lead to other tasks. And I think that's really the take-home message.
Yes, I believe so. Everything in order so that by the time you're at home, you're rested, everything's ready.
Absolutely.
So my last question is, my favorite question, give us a special or memorable patient that you've had.
Yeah. Well, I thought about this question a lot because I've had a lot of patients over the years and a lot of great stories and a lot of great saves and a lot of heartbreaks as well. I mean, that's just part of the deal. But I would say my answer to that question would be when we started our percutaneous valve program 10 years ago. We started it in April 2012. We grew our program slowly, as all programs did when transcatheter aortic valves first became available. And after a couple of years, we started having yearly breakfasts or lunches for the patients and their families who we replaced their valves. And I can't tell you how rewarding this was and how it became emotional. The patients would come in. These would be 80, 85-year-old active patients who were not candidates for open heart surgery, who 10, 15 years ago had no options at all except to live out their disease and have the remaining year or two, in relative misery because they get heart failure and shorter breath, and it's very tough. And now they come back to these lunches with their wives and pictures of their kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. And to be able to do that with a valve procedure and not open the chest and get them out quickly and back on the golf course or traveling to see their family or traveling overseas to enjoy their golden years. It was incredibly rewarding and emotional, and there were tears shed at these lunches, and it was great. And COVID kind of ruined that a little bit. So we haven't had those in a while, but I really miss it, and we're looking forward to the day when we can do those again. But that would be the answer to that question, these kinds of just reunions, if you will. And they're just terrific.
That is so encouraging, especially for yourself and the patients.
Everybody.
The MSPB team. Yep. That's incredible.
Yep. Thank you.
So I thank you so much for being with us here today, Dr. Rothenberg. Thank you for watching us today. And please like us and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and our Facebook page, mspbhealth.com. See you soon.